Thanks for being here, Mayor Canniff. 25% tariffs coming Tuesday. How worrying is this for you?
This is a significant worry for Chatham-Kent, for the country. I mean, when you look at what's happening, the United States has basically declared an economic war on us. They can't roll tanks across the border. This is the next best thing. So it's going to be huge impact. Here in Chatham-Kent, we have aluminum manufacturers, auto manufacturers. A lot of companies are going to be directly impacted by this.
So how does the Alliance plan to respond?
Well, I think the part of it all is we have to come together as Canadians. Regardless of political stripe, regardless of that, we need to come together 40 million strong and put up a fight against this, because we need to make it felt strongly in the United States as a negative impact. We can't react softly, and I like hearing from all politicians that we're going to be hard back on the United States, because they have to feel it. A lot of people in the United States don't want this. They look and say they're going to be impacted negatively economically. We are going to be hugely negatively impacted. We need to come together, and that's why we came together as border mayors to plan this out and to strategize of what we can do to ensure that we put as much pressure on the U.S. As possible.
Now, we are expecting to hear from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on possible countermeasures tonight. What are you hoping he'll say?
Well, I'm hoping he comes back with significant tariffs. And one thing that I haven't heard mentioned, I'm hoping that what he does is right across the border that we do a 25% tariff across any non-commercial item people are bringing back. So if somebody goes across the border to buy groceries and comes back, it's a 25% tariff. And because if we start shutting down basically Canadians going to the U.S. to buy anything, they're going to feel it along the northern border in the United States. They're going to feel it. So I hope we start doing things like that. That has to be done at a federal level, but to make sure that we make it felt in the United States. And whether we pick on some items like orange juice, we know that we want to shop Canadian. We don't make orange juice here. So that's a great thing can we rally together as Canadians to say, no, we're not going to buy orange juice anymore.
Do you have any concerns about potential countermeasures that might be announced?
Certainly. I mean, they're bigger than us. They're 8 times bigger than our population. They will ultimately win a war. What we need to do is have the individuals that can make a difference there stand up and say, you know what, we had enough. Think about it. We as Canadians are probably the best friend to the United States. If they decided to pick on us and declare economic war, they basically said they're going to do it to anybody in the world. So the rest of the world's looking at the United States and saying, wow, what are they doing there? And we just have to make it painful. But you're right. It is going to, they will win a protracted war, because you got to look at what ultimately does Trump want out of this. He's numerous times commented on wanting Canada as the 51st state. I think if we had a 50-foot wall right across the entire border, we would still be experiencing this, because there'd be some other reason why. There's ulterior motives. He's also talked about tariffs, replacing income taxes. So this goes towards that. It's completely ludicrous to think that tariffs are going to replace that, considering that tariffs are only 2% of the revenue and income taxes are 50%. So when you look at that, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
What is the next step that the Alliance will be taking?
Well, now that we know what they're going to be doing, we'll be meeting again, talking about that, lobbying the government, working with the various levels right across the country, the premiers, working with the Prime Minister, to ensure that our voices are heard, and we need to work together. Put in perspective that this trade war is being put together because there's a deficit as well. We as Canadians buy $11,000 a year worth of American goods. If you extrapolate it out, Americans buy $1,500 worth of Canadian goods. So put in perspective, because of the size of the country, that's why you're looking at a deficit, other things. But we buy almost 9 times as much stuff, American stuff, as they do Canadian. So this is blown out of proportion, and it's unfortunate that we're put in this. I'm hoping that it's going to be a short-lived thing.
All right, Darrin, we'll have to leave it there. That is our time. Thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
That is Darrin Canniff, Mayor of Chatham-Kent.